Okay, so we are back. We're gonna finally do this. The ranking the albums of Tom Waits, the proper albums. The other three I left off to the side. But again, if there's certain albums you really like in the period, listen to Nighthawks at the Diner, Glitter and Doom live, and really do check out the Orphans, Brawlers, Ballers, and Bastards 3 CD set. A lot of great tracks there, and some of which he did live, and others were just leftovers from some of these albums. So at the bottom of the list, I've got the first album, Closing Time. Now, the debut Tom Waits is it's a bit country tinged, it's piano, it's a little bit R&B, but very folk based. So think Buffalo Springfield, the uh, early Neil Young, or Stephen Stills. It's a good album. It's a heck of a debut. He's doing his uh, more of a mid-range, upper register, kind of like a odd timber, very much in the Springsteen, David Crosby style. You got Old 55, Virginia Avenue, Martha, Grapefruit Moon, Lonely, these very Torchlight, couple of Torchlight ballad tunes. Much better than I think people give it credit for, but it's a debut. It's locked in a style. If you love the first Springsteen album, Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey, this is right up your alley. And if you like Buffalo Springsteen, Buffalo Springfield, um, and the first one or two Crosby, Stills, Nash albums, yeah, of course, CSNY was always better than CSN, but whatever, more political. Um, Definitely in your wheelhouse, but that's the first album. It's the only one I don't have. I'll probably get it on the next order, although I really don't need it. I don't know how I'm going to go back and listen to it. But for completest sake, it's the one I'm missing, so we'll see. Next up, we're going 1987, Frank's Wild Years. So this is a full play musical. Kathleen Brennan wrote most of it. So these are songs from that musical. This is based off of Frank's Wild Years, the song, a little 2 minute narration about a guy who gets fed up with his job, his life, and being married, and lights his house on fire, as a song from Swordfish Trombones in '83. Um, it's not that this is a bad album. Yeah, Blow in Blow, Innocent When You Dream, Yesterday Is Here, More Than Rain, I'll Take New York, Telephone Call from Istanbul, Cold, Cold Ground. There's some really great songs in here. He's in his pre-industrial meets cabaret, wild prog type phase. So this is the third album in the sequence where he went full uh, German cabaret. So Kurt Weill, Bertolt Brecht, and composer Kurt Weill's wife, Lottie Lenya. For you Bobby Darin, Mac the Knife fans who didn't realize that was a Weill Brecht track before Bobby Darin and before Louis Armstrong, Lottie Lenya was the singer. This is very much in that wheelhouse. Innocent When You Dream, 78, amazing, but I just don't go to this album that much. And I play it back. I find some really good songs I enjoy, but eh, I, I just can't get into it that much. And I know that's a me problem. I get it. Uh, but it is what it is. Next up, the second album, In the Heart of Saturday Night, 1974. This is so damn good. I feel so bad putting it this low. I really love the title track, and then the Ghost of Saturday Night, Shiver Me Timbers, easily one of my favorite Tom Waits tracks ever, with Some Moby Dick referencing as well to his life living on a boat. You got to remember also at the time he was dating Bette Midler, and she would cover "Shiver Me Timbers" live on an old home video release, and when they reissued on DVD, they cut it for licensing trademark rights. But "Diamonds on My Windshield," the San Diego Serenade, "Fumbling with the Blues." He's still doing his Eagles, Springsteen, CSNY voice here. We are reminded the man can actually sing. He hasn't found the "Make It Rain" voice yet. That's coming. It's not full blown, but it's going to come on the next release. I really enjoyed it. It took me by surprise. But again, like the first album, if you're in the mood for folky and at times sea shanty tracks, perfect. That torch ballad piano singer in a smoky club, yeah, you can't go wrong with Early Waits. But again, on playback, yeah, it's gonna be a mood thing, because when you get into Tom Waits, you get used to his style and an unpredictability. To have all these piano and folky country rock songs, it's a little out of place to the usual thing. Next up, another soundtrack, essentially, to another play / musical, The Black Rider. The title track, "Just the Right Bullets," "Ain't No Sin." You have the guy who did Naked Lunch guesting on this. Why am I drawing a blank on his name right now? He shows up and it gets extra creepy. What? Hold on. Now I gotta look this up. Hold on. Naked Lunch. I'm gonna feel real stupid here in a second for not having this pulled up sooner. Oh, for God's sakes, William S. Burroughs. Okay, so there's some Burroughs referencing here as well, let alone the fact the man shows up on it. "The Briar and the Rose," written for Kathleen, wonderful ballad. "I'll Shoot the Moon," which I just talked about in another video, great. "Crossroads," "Gospel Train," "Lucky Day," which is also on Glitter and Doom Live, "Last Rose of Summer." Great tracks. We're going through R&B, we're going through cabaret, we're going into folk. It's fine, but some tracks I could it feels like there's a lot of filler in this. Maybe watching it with the full YouTube release of the play, which is still available, it makes more sense when you get the songs in the musical to get these random jumps and unconnected parts. You got to read it and try to fill in the blanks. It doesn't beg for revisiting. Maybe half the album is just spectacular, and other parts just feel like little interludes and narrative filler that in the sequence of the play make a lot more sense. But as an album to listen to, you can take or leave some of it. Doesn't mean I hate it, it's just the way things are. Okay, going on. So I'm gonna get some flack for this, because this is largely a masterpiece, but I'm gonna go with "Real Gone" from 2004. So here's the thing I have. This is around 70 minutes, and what kills it is not only do we have some songs that feel like filler, but the production is just murky and buried. In other moments, it's brick-walled. We got "Make It Rain" on here, "Green Grass," "Sins of the Father," track 3, did not need to be almost 11 minutes long. King of the Hill's pretty good. Hoist That Rag with Les Claypool. That's fun, but again, what the heck? We get Circus, just this bowl cutting, uh, just totally demasculinization of a character in life. Trampled Rose, which sounds better on the live version. Don't Go Into That Barn is definitely interesting. The Metropolitan Glide. Leave Me's fun. It's just, I love Dead and Lonely. That's easily one of my favorites off of this. How's It Gonna End? Real interesting, but you know, a couple of these tracks, not only could the production, but from what I've heard of the digitally of the 2018 remaster, it sounds so much better. Um, but going around having to put this up to 25 or above to hear everything, and it's still muddy, it drags the listening experience down. Like I said, that not like there aren't amazing classic just instant classic Waits tunes on this. It's just the production kills it, and there's a couple songs that honestly could have been cut and put on the Orphan set. Yeah, but that's me, and yeah, I get it. Yeah, I subjectively speaking, I get that. Objectively speaking, I'm wrong. This is a masterpiece. It deserves more credit. But the production just, and some of the song lengths, it just drags it down for me. And that's the problem I have with Real Gone. And then listening to the songs I know I love, and then hearing the remastered digitally, so much better, so much more inviting. But I'm going off of the artifact that I have and know, and not the remaster to cover some of the rough edges and bring out more of the instrumentation. So Real Gone's got to be low on my list. And the next up is, it's just the way it is. Next up is the pre-transition 77 Foreign Affairs. Muriel, I Never Talk to Strangers. That 8-minute medley. That's Jack and Neil, California Here I Come, and A Sight for Sore Eyes. This is a fun album. Potter's Field is just devastatingly haunting. Very much a Philip Marlowe type of film noir. Same thing with the follow-up song Burma Shave. Or the title track Foreign Affair, right into the foreign correspondent type of deal, mystery. These are your Tom Waits standard movie, mystery, crime piece, real life tracks. And I just think he's starting to stretch into other genres besides the folk and the country a lot more. It's getting more blues heavy. He's kind of dabbling into cabaret a little bit, but not a whole lot. There's a little hesitation here. I think it's a far better album than people give it credit for, but it's a step into the modern realm that we know him for, as Luna huffs at something outside, probably a neighbor walking their dog going by, and she proceeds to destroy further my already messed up blinds. But if you wonder what the huff and the thumping was in the background. But Foreign Affairs is actually a really strong album. It's just your mileage may vary on the playback. Some songs are maybe would have been better off on a later album versus that one, but he was making strides. Next up, I'm going with the first of two of the 2002 albums. This is Alice. There were two more musical / plays that Kathleen was working on. One was Wojciech, which became Blood Money, and the other one was another play, Alice, of just a new adaptation of Alice in Wonderland. Everything you can think. I love the dour ballad that's Poor Edward, and Flowers Grave, We're All Mad Here, which is a lot more up tempo wizardry. Uh, Barcarolle. I liked the oddball, blues polka tune, Tabletop Joe. And then we go wild with some German here. Kommen zu spät. Sing Puglish. What? Its weight's going off into crazy territory, as you expect him to. Everything you can think. And Watch Her Disappear. Just standout tracks. I'm Still Here, which I'm pretty sure wasn't on here as well. No, it wasn't on this, but I could have swore it was. And that's I think Poor Edward, Lost in the Harbor. You get your standard Lost Souls and your Melancholy, your Gothic Despair. It's just I like it better than Foreign Affairs because of how wild it is. Although I gotta tell you, even though I've put it above Foreign Affairs, I could see me listening to Foreign Affairs more going forward. Because this is just, it's half with the musical and half irregular Tom Waits, just character pieces and bits of legacy and who you are. But we'll see what happens. I might switch those around in the near future. Okay, going on. The Transition album. Heart Attack and Fire. Way stronger than I remembered it being. This is where we've got the full bourbon soaked smokehouse, put a bullet in it voice that he developed. The title track. And of course, Jersey Girl, which became a massive live hit for Springsteen. He started doing it late 1980, a few months after this album came out, on the River Tour, and then an 81 live version from, I think it's either MetLife or Passaic, on the 75 to 81 box set is here as well. Of course, Tom and Bruce end up sitting next to each other playing guitar for the what is it? Black and White Night for Roy Orbison in '86 is the comeback for Roy before he tragically died too soon. But at least we got the comeback. You got the title track, Saving All My Love for You, Going Downtown, On the Nickel, a reference to Mr. Siegel, and the absolute ballad Ruby's Arms. Just heartbreaking, yet at the same time, it's actually gorgeous. And it is how he presents it. It's really more loving, like Jersey Girl. It's just the way it's delivered, the piano, the cello, and the upright bass coming in. It gives it more of a depressing tone, even though it's really not depressing. But these are tracks on the Nickels, a lot more of your club, blues, jazz type of standard track. This sounds a lot better than it gets credit for. It gets trashed a lot. I just think this was a transition album, and we're starting on the weird, funky cabaret, jazz meets blues, R&B standard here. And hearing the voice in full, when it really starts to get guttural, it's a little odd for people, and it's different, but the chaos initially is on display, and a lot of the songs just have a high replayability, I should say. Up next, this one's gonna give me some flack. Yeah, rightfully so. I get it, but Swordfish Trombones. Oh my God! Shore Leave, Dave the Butcher, Johnsburg, Illinois. Got 16 shells from a 30-06. A Town with No Cheer, just another sucker on the vine. The 2 minute narrative, Frank's Wild Years. The title track, Rainbirds. This is phenomenal. And to have it about halfway is almost criminal. But that's the strength of the albums coming up and how much more concise they get. This clocks in at 15 tracks. Um, yeah, this is out there. Again, he went full cabaret with. It sounds like they're beating trash cans for drums and percussion effects. This is this is how do I put this? Um, think of a noir film, Ernst Lubitsch, Where the Sidewalk Ends. This is your Where the Sidewalk Ends type of thing. No, that wasn't Ernst Lubitsch. It was Otto Preminger, who directed Laura in '44 with all the same star. The two of the three main stars are in that film. This is your. We're going off into Philip Marlowe, Maltese Falcon type of oddity and vanity and just the just the darkness of mankind and the losers pushing up pints and doing shots in the bar. Never mind. Again, when you've got Town with No Cheer, brings up the negative exposure and the hit song to the movie Town Without Pity, where uh three GIs rape this girl, and then Kirk Douglas uses the excuse of you must have loved it, that's why you didn't report it. That type of just negativity and darkness and depression, occasional depravity, it goes on this album. Probably one of his greatest of all time. It's just when I play it back, some days I'm all into it, and then there are other moments where I'm like, I could do without two of these songs on replay. Let me just skip that. So that's why it's where it is. It should be higher. I get that. It's just what I'm in the mood for, and what I'm in the mood for is his last album, Bad as Me. The same kind of Bad as Me. And this is the bonus edition with the three extra songs on disc 2. 9 minutes, She Stole the Blush, After You Die. The wild title track that Tom Jones covered live. I love Face to the Highway. Keith Richards is playing guitar on Satisfied. And then you got the chorus, well, Mr. Jagger and Mr. Richards, I will be satisfied. Hell Broke Loose. New Year's Eve with the Auld Lang Syne track thrown in, your depressive end of the relationship or trying to string it together. Things Will Be Better in Chicago. Pay Me. Kiss Me. This brings back the early 70s meets mid 80s type of Tom Waits vibe. It's kind of a throwback without being the whole cabaret, excessive blues and experimental sound. I think it gives you all of the eras, but the best of the eras wrapped all in one. And I wish he would do another album after this, but like I said, he's now 78 and he can just sit back and collect his publishing and songwriting credit rights. I get it. There's no need to, but some of these songs about being a traveling musician and the artist, it's a great album. If you haven't heard Bad as Me, go check that one out. Okay, coming up next for me, probably his greatest album of all time. Rain Dogs, Downtown Train, Anywhere I Lay My Head, the ballad, Rain Dogs, Hang Down Your Head, the almost sludgy sing-along Big Black Maria, or Mariah. Tangled to their Sore, Jockey Full of Bourbon, The Cemetery Polka. Like I said, we're in full cabaret mode. The German, not French cabaret. The German Weimar, 23 to 33 type of sound. Singapore, which is on Glitter and Doom Live. It's just an amazing album. And why this is everyone's number one, or the majority's number one, I get it. I just think 19 songs, I could do without a couple of them. The replay is strong, they're short-lived, they get in, they get out. It just feels like a couple of these are just filler. And that's why I put it lower than expected. Is this his masterpiece? Probably. I just, for my own tastes, my own subjective point of view, it's not my reach to, it's not my go-to. So that's why it's just outside my top 5. Should be in the top 5, but just outside. My number 5 is going to surprise a lot of you. This is 1978. Blue Valentine. Okay. With the another artist he was dating at the time, beat poet and R&B. The cover is Somewhere from West Side Story. I love the narrative tale. Red Shoes by the Drugstore. The incredible Romeo is Bleeding. Which is almost a movie title in of itself. The epic 8-minute, $29. The song a lot of people remember from this is Christmas Card from a Hooker in Minneapolis. Again, we're not in the full cabaret, pre-industrial type of sound yet, but he's starting to tinker with that. He's getting a lot more jazz added to his blues and his country. Especially with my favorite of the album, Whistling Past the Graveyard. Oh my god, that's so good. The depressive story that is A Sweet Little Bullet from a Pretty Blue Gun. The title track. This is, again, he's going more into jazz and swing on this album than he was on Foreign Affairs. He was starting on Foreign Affairs, but the swing and jazz elements on this, giving it that late night club and dance hall feel. This is just a solid album from start to finish. Much more cohesive, and even when he goes country R&B ballad Kentucky Avenue, it's just all standout tracks. And I don't know why that pre-1980 post, that 77 to 79 era, it feels so overlooked. And I get why when you look at when you consider Rain Dogs, but then you look at what came out in 76, and it's like, yeah, I could see why he's being exploratory, and some people like the slow blues or the borderline Springsteen, Eagles, CSN, Buffalo Springfield vibe more than others, and other people like the wild cabaret meets new wave type of style from the 80s. It's all good, I get it, but I think Blue Valentine is one of his strongest albums. This brings me to my number 4. The other 2002, Wojciech, Blood Money. Oh, man. The guttural smack in the face that is Misery is the River of the World, God's away on business. Everything goes to hell. It's not a cover. It'll make you think of it, though, but Coney Island Baby, for you Lou Reed fanatics out there like myself, it's not a cover. It's an original thing. But again, still, we're in the ballpark. All the World Is Green, which I could have swore was. Oh, that's not on here, but again, you can see that as a live track. Uh, I love the trilogy of Another Man's Vine, Knife Chase, and the ballad Lullaby. There's something about those three tracks. They go between, again, blues to borderline almost, just grim noir with Knife Chase, and then the ballad that is Lullaby. Again, more blues, a little bit of folk. Even doing the piece of meat marinated in a bourbon barrel, dumped in a smokehouse, and then shot. You had a bullet in your steak. Even with him doing that voice, it just hits you on so many emotional levels, starving the belly of the whale. And of course, the other ballad, the actual tugging at heartstrings, it's the parts you throw away, the end of your relationships and how close you get to people and making choices. Good Man to Hard to Find is another heck of a closer. Blood Money is easily one of his better albums, and I feel like it gets lost to the history and the legacy of those 3 or 4 '80s albums that everyone. And of course, a certain album from 1976 that we will be getting to real soon. My number 3, it's 70 minutes long, but whereas Real Gone felt the production killed and made it bloated, we're going to the 16 track Mule Variations, 1999. This is his first one since Bone Machine. And Black Rider. Even though it was more of a soundtrack. But you got Big in Japan, Hold On, Get Behind the Mule, House Where Nobody Lives. We got some gospel referencing with Chocolate Jesus. For everybody who doesn't want to go to church on Sunday, you have to have that Immaculate Confection. You gotta have my Chocolate Jesus to cover all my prayers. The live versions of this on Letterman, and then that VH1 Storytellers version from '99. Man, these are so good. Take It With Me, Black Market Baby, the paranoia of neighbors in a homeowner association looking at their neighbor like he's extra sketchy, and what's he building with of course, Tom doing it in his narrative, gritty gravel voice, with the music perfectly syncing up and getting more wild as it goes. Picture in a Frame. We've got a lot of styles on this album. We've got country, we've got folk, we've got gospel, we got blues, we got the cabaret, oddities and mixtures. And just standard rock. He really, arguably, this is the peak of his musical power. It's just crossing all the genres and making it work. So, Mule Variations is my number 3. My number 2. Oh my God, I've been ranting for 34 minutes. Jesus Christ. Okay, wrap it up. Number 2, The Landmark. The voice in full bloom. Small Change, and rumor is that's Cassandra Elvira Peterson. She doesn't think so, but it kind of looks like her without makeup to an extent. But again, that woman will sign these albums if you bring it to her, and she's like, whatever. I don't think it was me, but yeah, it looks like me. Tom Traubert's Blues, Forschi Saloon in Copenhagen. This is our lead-off track right off the bat. We got Waltzing Matilda. Jitterbug Boy, Singer Curbstone with Chucky Weiss, Robert Marches, Paul Bodie, and Mug and Artie. This is just a fun album. Even when it gets depressing, this is your blues blues with some jazz thrown in, slow jazz, uh, your show tunes, a little bit of swing here and there. I wish I was in New Orleans in the Ninth Ward. In the Ninth Ward. And the piano's been drinking, not me. Invitation to the Blues, the ballad, the other ballad, the one that got away. This is the really fun Pasties in the G String at the 2 o'clock club. These are all your low lifes, your partiers, your drinkers, your dreamers trying to build a stronger life, yet have experiences and not quite getting there. Can't wait to get off work and see my baby on Montgomery Avenue. 5 minute, 6 minute, a couple tunes. Most of these are in the 2 to 3 minute range. There is no bad song on this. This is either this or Rain Dogs would be the magnum opus if I'm being objective about things and where he was going. I didn't even hear this album until a couple weeks ago when I got this in on CD. I never played this whole album. And then I put it on and went, holy shit, this is incredible. There's nothing bad here. All of the humor, the depression, existentialism, very also humor, gallows humor, very dark. I love it. I wish I'd listened to it more over the years, but how fast I got this and I went, try this ain't going to be in my top 10. Oh, no, this is my number 2 immediately because it's just that damn strong. Especially for the gallows humor and everything. And my number 1, this isn't no goddamn surprise. I keep leading off, finishing my videos with this for a reason. It's track 2 off this album. You remember that someday we're all going to be dirt in the ground. This is off of 1992, The Bone Machine, or Bone Machine. Recorded in a basement, essentially, with a whole bunch of metal and iron and stuff like that to give it a very detached, metallic feel. As a matter of fact, here's the said basement and studio on the Orphans album cover. So this is, we get some sci-fi references here with the Earth Died Screaming, which is very folksy and almost gospel tinged. Jesus Gonna Be Here. Dirt in the Ground is your emotional ballad and squeezed with country and upright bass. Such a Scream, which I got wrong, but that's Glitter and Doom Live is there as well, and the Such a Scream on Glitter and Doom Live is incredible. The Ocean Doesn't Want Me, A Little Rain. These are all, most of these are just, end of life, coming to terms with society, your religion, your place in this world. We get the commentary that goes back to Rome, but where we are in media and society across race and class within the Colosseum. One of my absolute favorites, Going Out West, with the music video where he's got the damn makeshift football helmet with the horns on it. I look good without a shirt on it. I'm going. Okay. Murder in the Red Barn. That's a lot of fun. We had Whistling Past the Graveyard. Here we got Whistle Down the Wind. I Don't Want to Grow Up. It's just something about him is dark and as vicious, and as much as it sounds like it's recording a tin can, the darkness adds to the theme of all these songs, and it's just him commenting on where we're going, and not only his life but other various characters. Still in that cabaret meets new wave meets blues meets gospel meets country. It's still in that weird, funky, almost progressive existence. But he goes into every song here he covers different genres essentially. My favorite, if I had to pick one, is Black Wings. That's just on the Storytellers edition for VH1. He said this is the song with menace. Yeah, because apparently I wrote it with extra menace, and but this character who's kind of a misfit, but is also, yeah, he's an outcast, but also a relatively stand-up person affecting time and history and royal spaces. Arguably, it's the Angel of Death, of course, but also can do good deeds as well, and it just impacts people's lives and positively and negatively, but still an outcast. Black Wings is one of those tracks I just go back to, and this whole album, the stripped down sound, the eeriness of it, it's, as a horror fanatic, as a metalhead, especially death metal and thrash metal, uh, this is in my wheelhouse because it's at times also just downright creepy. It's what you expect Tom Waits to be, especially with that voice. So that's my ranking the albums. I went 41 minutes. Jesus Christ. A lot of rambling. Sorry. It's just, this is a hard catalog to rank. I should start with saying that I want you all to know how much this sucked to do, because a lot of his catalog, it's objectivity meets subjectivity and putting your styles and choices of music. Because if you're not into 40s and 50s action, gangster, noir films, or even 30s cabaret and show tunes, you're not going to understand or like most of his catalog. You have to look at it through the lens that he loves those things, and he loves swing, and he loves jazz, and he loves blues. So all these different period pieces, and whether or not it's a play slash musical he's adapting from his wife, and adding his own, creepy, odd lens to it, especially with the affect to stand out and sell markets. Because let's be honest, if Tom Waits kept on going like he sounded on the first two records, he might not have sold all the albums that he did, or maybe people wouldn't have been as daring to cover it and make them into mainstream hit singles. Case in point is that Bette Midler, Rod Stewart. It just, nobody knows that these are covers, and they think that these are original songs. And meanwhile, it's, hey, it's Tom doing it, but he's doing it with that with that things will be better in Chicago voice. You gotta get used to it. And then you hear someone who's a better natural singer do it and rearrange it, and you go, oh God, that's an instant classic. Yeah, it says a lot when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I know it's a status symbol run by a bunch of fucking marks and critics who can't get out of their own goddamn way, and totally besmirch the idea of what's a great rock or metal band and what sells, and they'll put in what's popular. Yeah, no offense to Tom, but how he went in before Rush doesn't, if we're talking commercial standards, doesn't quite make any sense to me. But I love the oddities and the weirdness that is Tom Waits. And since Tom is in, it's amazing it took them this long to put Warren Zevon on until this year. Just saying, man, that completely impacted the direction of rock and pop music in general. That Neil Young put Tom Waits in, it says a lot, especially with the heavy CSNY, Buffalo Springfield and Springsteen background that went into the earlier albums, and into a sense went into the later ones, even he was going more cabaret and garage trash can sounding, all these other influences he had, and again, back on him as well because they're all friends. I think if you're into those 30s, 40s, 50s movies, uh, you're into noir, you're into pulp novels and things like that. You like your country, you like some folk, you like your Bob Dylan, you Willie Nelson even, or your Hank Williams, old Hank. I mean, the real Hank Williams, uh, or even Charlie Daniels. I think there's something here for all of you across all these albums. It's just getting used to it and adjusting. So I'm gonna wrap this up after 40, almost 46 minutes now. Oof, damn. Oh, and if you like William S. Burroughs weirdness, some of those movies have been adapted by Cronenberg. I mean, Naked Lunch was adapted in '91 with RoboCop. Peter Weller is the star, and Roy Scheider making cameos and stealing every scene he's in with the warlock Julian Sands and these creepy bug effects and things like that. Burroughs was he shot his wife down in Mexico. They were doing William Tell. She put an apple on her head, and he just missed the apple and blew her brains out like they did in the Naked Lunch movie. Uh, this is a soundtrack artist. This is an actor, a true vaudevillian in every sense. There's something here for everybody. It's just your mileage may vary, and you may not like the guttural baritone smokehouse voice he takes on, but trust me, there's plenty of seasoned musicians with far better singing voices who have covered him and not only made money themselves, but made him a lot of money. So go check out your Tom Waits. I think you're in for a lot of surprises, and as I keep referencing it, there's a lot of great lost tracks on Orphans that are left over from Blood Money and Alice and some other plays and musicals he popped up in, or other soundtracks he did. I mean, he also did the soundtrack to Night on Earth, a couple of Jim Jarmusch films, and so did, of course, Neil Young did Dead Man from '95. Tom Waits even shows up in a couple of them. I think he shows up in Mystery Train. He's definitely in the '86 Jarmusch film, besides doing the score for Night on Earth. Why I can't think of the '86 film off the top of my head right now, I don't know. It'll come to me in about 2 minutes after I sign off. Yeah, that's just how life goes. You know, guys. So, closing thoughts. Check out Rain Dogs, Small Change, Blue Valentine, Bad As Me. If you want one of his biggest hits, it's off of Real Gone. His video from Letterman, that's great. And that's Make It Rain. Chicago is another Letterman appearance as well for Bad As Me. Go watch the Letterman interviews if you want, because he popped up from '83 until 2015. He did a whole fresh new song on 2015, the second to last show, penultimate, called Take One Last Look. Funny interviews all the time. You never know what the hell you're gonna get with him. But the songs are always good. There's different styles, and it's just what you're in the mood for at any given time. If you love Springsteen, by all means, and you know the song Jersey Girl, go to Heart Attack and Vine, listen to the title track, the original Jersey Girl, Mr. Siegel and Ruby's Arms. The man does everything, and he's crossing 5-6 different genres and styles all together on every album. So it's what you're in the mood for. I'm gonna say, wrapping this up before we hit a goddamn hour. Hit like, drop a comment, poke or smash that subscribe button. I won't complain either way. I'm doing this. It'd be nice to have more subs, but I'm doing what I like as I go through my damn record collection and add or find all these new things. Just remember, Nothing is promised to you. Uh, Enjoy yourself, make the best of it, because as track 2 on Bone Machine says, Tom sings best of all, someday we're all going to be dirt in the ground. That's the truth, guys. Who knows what else is after this, but take the time, enjoy yourself. It's all that matters. We're all fans. We all hear and see things differently. We all have opinions. Just like 99.9% of us have assholes. And for that 0.01% that don't, well, they don't live past a week or two. So at least you're here. At least you took the time. At least you tried. And you found something to explore. Until the next one, take care. And coming up soon, I got the first Roxy Music album in on the Half Speed Abbey Road remaster. So I can do a Roxy Music album ranking as soon as I listen to it 2 or 3 times. And we'll go from there. Take care, and maybe a top 10 Tom Waits tracks for me. We'll see. It could easily be a top 30. That's just one of those deals. But again, till the next one.